Hello and welcome back to our channel, the place where we care deeply about your health and the health of those you love. If you're new here, I want to thank you for tuning in. Please take a moment right now to click the like button, and if you haven't subscribed yet, I truly encourage you to do that as well. Hit the bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming health tips that just might change your life or the life of someone you love. Now, let me ask you something personal. Have you ever noticed your mum, dad, or maybe your grandparents start their day feeling unusually tired? Have they told you their legs feel weak, even though they haven't done much physical activity? Maybe they seem to move a little slower than usual in the morning. You might have thought, well, they're just getting older, right? But what if I told you that what they eat in the morning or don't eat may actually be making things worse? Muscle weakness and fatigue among older adults isn't just part of aging. It is, more often than not, a result of something far more controllable. Morning nutrition, or rather, the lack of it. Let's break this down. When seniors wake up in the morning, their bodies have gone several hours, maybe 10 or even 12, without any nourishment. That's a long time for anyone, but it's especially tough for an aging body. According to the National Institute on Aging, seniors lose muscle mass more rapidly than younger people. That condition is called sarcopenia, and it's not a rare issue. Many older adults in America experience it without even knowing. The muscles, if not fueled properly, begin to shrink and weaken. This leads to instability, higher risk of falls, and eventually dependence on others for basic movement. You may be thinking, but they eat something every morning. Sure, they might grab a cup of coffee, a piece of toast with butter, maybe even a sugary cereal or some frozen pancake with syrup. But here's the truth. Those foods aren't doing them any favors. These breakfast items are often high in refined sugars, empty carbs, or unhealthy fats, and they offer little to no real nourishment for aging muscles. They spike blood sugar, temporarily, giving a short burst of energy, and then quickly crash, leaving the person feeling more tired than before. Not to mention the increased risk for type 2 diabetes and cardiovascular disease that these foods bring over time. So what's the solution? It's simpler than you think. One small change in the morning can create a chain reaction of benefits, and it doesn't involve expensive supplements or complicated diets. It starts with something so basic, yet so overlooked: fruit. That's right, just one piece of fruit on an empty stomach, eaten consistently in the morning, can begin to revive energy, support muscle repair, and fuel the body with essential nutrients. Now, before you shrug that off, I want you to hear me out, because in the next chapters, we're going to look at the science behind this solution, real-life case studies from American seniors who made this one change, and the exact fruits that are proven to work. But for now, let's stay with the big picture. According to a large dietary study published by the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health, older adults who include fresh fruit in their morning meal report better energy, fewer digestive issues, and even improved mobility over time. This isn't about eating a fruit salad the size of your head. It's about adding one intentional piece of fruit consistently in the first hour of your day. That's it. You're probably wondering, which fruit? How soon after waking? What about medications? We're going to answer all of that in the next part of this series. But here's what I want you to hold on to today. Nutrition is power. And when it comes to aging gracefully, the first thing you eat in the morning isn't just breakfast. It's the fuel for your muscles, your brain, and your heart. It sets the tone for your entire day. And for seniors, that tone matters more than ever. So before you grab another processed bar or sugary coffee, stop and think, what if today could be different? In the next episode, we'll walk through the specific biological mechanisms that make fruit so effective in muscle support, and we'll look at which fruits are best, and why timing matters. But before we go, let me remind you again, if this message helped you think differently about breakfast, hit that like button. And if you know someone who could benefit from this, share it with them. Make sure you're subscribed so you get notified when Chapter 2 drops. That's where things get real. Until then, remember this: a single fruit can start a ripple effect in the health of someone you love. Welcome back. I hope you've taken a moment since our last conversation to reflect on the simple but powerful truth we uncovered. One piece of fruit in the morning, eaten on an empty stomach, could be the very shift your loved one needs to reclaim strength, energy, and joy in their day. Today, we're diving deeper. We're going to break down why this actually works. What is it about fruit that supports aging muscles? How does it affect energy and strength in seniors? And what's going on inside the body when that apple or banana hits the stomach first thing in the morning? We're not guessing here. We're looking at actual science, real data, and biological facts that every caregiver and every senior deserves to understand. Let's start with a foundational concept. As we age, our bodies become less efficient at absorbing nutrients. This is especially true for protein, potassium, calcium, and magnesium, for nutrients essential to maintaining and building muscle mass. According to the National Institutes of Health, nearly half of American seniors fall short of their daily protein intake, and even more fall short on potassium and magnesium. These aren't just numbers. These are warning signs. So where does fruit come in? When a person eats fruit on an empty stomach, their digestive system is in its most receptive state. Without competing foods in the gut like dairy, meat, or bread, fruit, sugars, and nutrients can pass through the stomach quickly and be absorbed in the intestines with minimal delay. This is important, especially for older adults who often experience slower digestion, but here's the key. Fruit is not just sugar, it's fiber, water, vitamins, antioxidants, and in some cases, critical minerals. For example, bananas are rich in potassium and magnesium, both essential for nerve and muscle function. Blueberries and strawberries are packed with antioxidants that reduce inflammation in muscle tissue, and apples, they contain a type of fiber, called pectin, which helps regulate blood sugar and improve nutrient absorption overall. Let's take a closer look at potassium. This mineral is essential for muscle contraction. Without it, muscles can cramp, fatigue quickly, or even weaken permanently. In a clinical review published by the Journal of Geriatric Physical Therapy, researchers found that seniors with higher potassium intake had better muscle tone and lower risk of falls. And you guessed it, fruit is one of the richest natural sources of potassium. Now let's talk about antioxidants. As we age, oxidative stress, that's the damage caused by free radicals in the body, becomes more intense. This stress wears down cells, including muscle cells, and speeds up the aging process. Antioxidants found in fruit like vitamin C, vitamin A, and polyphenols actively fight this process, protecting muscle fibers from breakdown. Another factor that often gets overlooked is hydration. Older adults often don't feel thirst as sharply as younger people, making dehydration a silent threat. Many fruits, such as watermelon, oranges, and grapes, are made up of more than 80% water. Starting the day with one of these hydrating fruits gives the body a much-needed fluid boost, improving blood flow to muscles and brain tissue. All of this means that fruit is not just a snack, it's a strategic choice, a natural supplement wrapped in color, flavor, and fiber. Still not convinced? Let's look at a study conducted by the University of Illinois. In their trial, a group of adults over the age of 60 who added just one serving of fruit in the morning for 6 weeks showed improved grip strength, better balance, and lower inflammation markers compared to those who maintained their usual breakfast routines, and none of them changed their physical activity levels. The only change was the fruit. It's not magic, it's nutrition science. In the next chapter, we'll hear from 3 American seniors who took this advice and saw their lives change. Real people, real results. You won't want to miss it. Before you go, share this with a friend. And if you haven't already, tap that subscribe button. Knowledge like this is meant to be shared. Welcome back. If you've followed us this far, you now understand the biological power packed into a single serving of fruit. You know why it works. You know the science behind it. But maybe you're wondering if this really translates into real life. Does one apple really make a difference for someone in their 70s or 80s? Can switching from toast or bacon to a bowl of fruit actually restore strength and fight fatigue? Today, you're going to hear the stories that answer those questions. Let me introduce you to 3 amazing seniors, all American, all over the age of 65, and all living with daily fatigue and weakening muscles. What they had in common was not just age, it was a struggle. A quiet but relentless sense that their bodies were no longer cooperating. Each of them felt like their strength was slipping, and they were searching for something simple, natural, and effective. Let's start with Marjorie, a 73-year-old grandmother from Phoenix, Arizona. For years, she struggled with morning fatigue. Getting out of bed felt like a chore. Her knees ached, her arms felt heavy, and her grip had weakened to the point where opening jars was almost impossible. Her diet wasn't bad, oatmeal and toast for breakfast, salad at lunch, but her energy never improved. One morning, after watching a video about natural energy solutions, she decided to change just one thing. She replaced her toast with a ripe banana and a small handful of strawberries. She kept the oatmeal, but the fruit came first. Within 10 days, Marjorie noticed her mornings were smoother. By the third week, she told her daughter, "I feel like I'm standing taller again." A blood test during her regular checkup showed lower markers of inflammation. Her doctor noted improvement in her grip strength, and she made no other changes. Now let's talk about Kenneth, a 70-year-old Vietnam veteran living in rural Ohio. Kenneth had always been a strong, independent man, but over the last year, his muscle mass declined noticeably. He felt weaker getting out of chairs, and had even fallen once while gardening. His breakfast routine was a pot of coffee and white bread with butter. After speaking with his nurse practitioner, who had just read a study about the role of antioxidants in preserving muscle tissue, Kenneth committed to a morning bowl of mixed fruit. He chose blueberries, cantaloupe, and watermelon fruits, easy to digest, packed with hydration, and rich in micronutrients. Over the next 2 months, Kenneth kept a daily journal. He noticed that his energy levels in the morning no longer dipped. By mid-morning, he could mow the lawn again without needing a break. Most importantly, he hadn't fallen once. His balance was stronger. When he returned for his annual physical, his doctor commented on his healthier complexion and better blood pressure. The third story is Yolanda, a 69-year-old former nurse from Atlanta. Unlike Kenneth or Marjorie, Yolanda was already very health conscious. She exercised twice a week and cooked most of her meals from scratch. But she was experiencing something frustrating: muscle cramps during the night and weakness in her arms. She'd tried stretching, magnesium supplements, and even massage therapy. But it wasn't until a dietitian suggested she adjust her morning nutrition that things changed. She added half a papaya and a kiwi to her breakfast, eating them before anything else. Papaya is rich in vitamin C and enzymes that aid digestion, while kiwi is high in potassium and antioxidants. The result? Within 3 weeks, her cramps reduced by 70%. She no longer woke up exhausted, and surprisingly, her digestion also improved, which she hadn't realized was an issue. Her feedback to the dietitian was simple: "It felt like giving my body a green light." These 3 people didn't take expensive supplements. They didn't start new workout routines. They didn't fast, cleanse, or follow complicated diets. They just made a small switch: a piece of fruit, eaten on an empty stomach. Every morning that it worked. These stories are not meant to replace medical advice. Every person's health journey is unique, but they do prove something powerful: that even the smallest, most natural change can have a ripple effect. That the body, even in its later years, responds to nourishment. That food, real food, has healing power. In the next chapter, we're going to talk about how to put this into action. What fruits work best? How can you introduce them to your routine easily, especially if you're already set in your habits? And how do you deal with common objections like sugar concerns or dental sensitivity? Stick around. The next part is all about practical tools. Don't forget to like and share this video if it's helped you or someone you love. And of course, if you haven't yet, subscribe to this channel. Let's keep learning and growing together. Welcome back to the most practical part of this journey. You've heard the science, you've heard the stories. Now it's time to take action. In this chapter, we're going to break down exactly how you or a loved one can start the fruit morning routine, especially if you're a senior looking to improve strength, energy, and vitality. Let's start with this. Making a new habit stick, especially later in life, isn't about discipline, it's about simplicity. That's why this approach works. All you need is one thing: a piece of fruit in the morning on an empty stomach. But of course, there's more to consider. Which fruits work best? The best fruits for muscle support, digestion, and energy in seniors are the ones packed with antioxidants, vitamins, and fiber, but also gentle on the stomach. Here are the top choices recommended by geriatric nutritionists and supported by institutions like the Mayo Clinic and the National Institute on Aging. Bananas, rich in potassium. They help maintain muscle function and prevent cramps. Blueberries, full of antioxidants that fight inflammation and protect muscle cells. Papaya contains papaya, an enzyme that supports digestion and helps reduce oxidative stress. Kiwi, high in vitamin C. It supports collagen formation, essential for strong connective tissue. Apples provide both fiber and antioxidants, and are easy to digest. Cantaloupe, or watermelon, excellent hydration and mild on the stomach, especially helpful for older adults with reduced thirst response. You don't need to eat all of these every day. Start with just one, then mix and match during the week. The goal is variety, not complexity. Not complexity, but when and how to eat. If the timing matters. Eat your fruit first thing in the morning, before coffee, tea, or breakfast. Why? Because the stomach is empty, digestion is quicker, and nutrients are absorbed more efficiently. Eating fruit on an empty stomach allows the body to process the natural sugars and fiber without interference from heavier foods. According to research from Harvard's T.H. Chan School of Public Health, this simple sequencing can improve glucose response and reduce inflammation. Wait at least 20 minutes before having your main breakfast. This gives your body time to process the fruit. Some people find they feel full already, and that's a good sign. What about sugar? Many seniors and caregivers worry about sugar content in fruit, but here's the good news. Natural fruit, sugars, called fructose, behave differently than processed sugars. The fiber in fruit slows down sugar absorption, which helps regulate blood sugar levels. The American Diabetes Association actually recommends whole fruits as a healthy part of a diabetic diet. Unless your doctor has given you specific restrictions, there is no need to fear fruit. What if I have dental issues? Dental sensitivity is common with age. If biting into crisp apples or cold watermelon is uncomfortable, try these options. Choose softer fruits like banana, papaya, or ripe pear. Slice fruit thinly and let it sit at room temperature. Blend your fruit into a smoothie using water or plain yogurt. Avoid canned fruit and syrup, which contains added sugars and offers fewer benefits. Remember, the goal isn't to create a burden. It's to find what works with your lifestyle and limitations. How to make it a habit. Consistency is key. Here are some ways to stay on track. Place the fruit on the kitchen counter the night before. Keep a fruit bowl visible and stock set a morning reminder on your phone. Track your energy in a small journal to stay motivated. Involve a partner or friend. Habits are easier in community if you're a caregiver. Make this a shared routine. Preparing and eating fruit together can become a moment of connection. Adjusting for medications and conditions. If you're on medication that requires food, such as certain blood pressure or thyroid medications, speak with your doctor before starting any routine. In most cases, fruit is safe and may even help with medication absorption. But it's always best to double check, and for those with chronic conditions like kidney disease or gastrointestinal disorders, choose fruits that align with dietary guidelines from your healthcare provider. What not to do. Avoid fruit juices. Even 100% fruit juice lacks the fiber of whole fruit and delivers sugar more quickly, which can spike blood glucose. The benefit of fruit comes not just from the nutrients, but from the full structure, the pulp, the skin, the fiber. Also avoid pairing fruit with heavy protein or fat first thing in the morning. A fruit-first approach gives your digestion a head start without the extra burden of slow digesting foods. Final thoughts before we move on. You now have a blueprint. It's not a diet, it's not a program, it's one tiny act that supports the body you live in. Start tomorrow. One piece of fruit, one choice, one new beginning. In the final chapter, we're going to wrap everything together. I'll give you the big picture takeaway, the lasting lessons, and a few heartfelt words for anyone who's growing older or caring for someone who is. So don't miss it. And if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel. Let's build strength and wisdom together. Welcome to the closing chapter of this journey. If you've made it this far, it means you care deeply about your health, your future, or the well-being of someone you love. And that's where everything begins. We've talked about how fruit, when eaten on an empty stomach each morning, can become more than just a healthy snack. It can become a bridge to a better quality of life. For seniors, especially those facing fatigue, reduced muscle mass, or slower recovery, this isn't just theory, it's proven, practical, and powerful. Let's step back and see the full picture. Why this matters more than ever. As we age, our bodies face natural changes. Muscle tissue breaks down faster. The ability to absorb nutrients declines. Appetite can fade, and with it, the energy to move, to think clearly, or to enjoy the day. This is why so many older adults report feeling weak or exhausted, even without any major illness. The root cause, more often than not, is hidden in something we take for granted: our food. And the biggest missed opportunity: breakfast. Skipping breakfast or loading it with processed carbs, greasy meats, or sugar-laden items puts strain on the digestive system, raises inflammation, and robs the body of the clean energy it needs most in the morning. This can directly affect muscle strength, mental clarity, and emotional stability. That's where the fruit-first solution comes in. It's not a silver bullet, it's not magic, but it works because it aligns with the way the body is designed. What the research says: according to the National Institute on Aging, older adults who consume diets rich in fiber, antioxidants, and vitamins experience better mobility, stronger immunity, and improved overall vitality. Harvard's School of Public Health also highlights that fruit consumption, particularly early in the day, helps regulate blood sugar, reduce inflammation, and support muscle maintenance, all critical for aging adults. We're not talking about exotic superfoods or complicated regimens, just fruit, just one serving, every morning. And the best part, it's achievable. You don't need to overhaul your entire lifestyle. You don't need to spend money on supplements or meal plans. You only need the willingness to begin your next step. Here's what you can do tomorrow. Choose a fruit, maybe a banana, maybe a few slices of papaya, maybe a handful of blueberries. Eat it first thing in the morning. Before anything else, do it again the next day. You'll start to notice small changes, less bloating, more energy, clearer thinking. Maybe you'll feel a bit stronger when you walk or lift something. Maybe your digestion will improve. Maybe your mood will lift. And that's just the beginning. Consistency beats intensity. The results don't come from doing it once. They come from doing it regularly. It's like watering a plant. One day of sunshine won't change the roots, but daily care, that changes everything. So don't worry about being perfect. Don't overthink it, just build the habit. If you miss a day, start again. If you get bored with one fruit, switch it up. Make it your own. For caregivers and loved ones, if you're watching this video for someone else, a parent, a grandparent, or a patient, your role is sacred. You have the power to shape not just their nutrition, but their dignity and their hope. A simple morning routine like offering a piece of fruit can become an act of love, a ritual of care, and a step toward healing. It doesn't need to be complicated. It just needs to be consistent, and if they resist at first, be gentle, share this information, invite them to try. Celebrate small wins, let them feel the difference in their own time. Final words: aging is not a decline, it's a transition. And in every transition, there is opportunity to reset, to realign, and to thrive in a new way. You are not powerless. You are not too late. Your body, even now, wants to heal. And with every good choice, you give it permission. So let this be your morning mantra. One fruit, one choice, one stronger future. If you found this series valuable, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share it with someone who needs it. Your engagement helps us reach more people with life-changing insights. Thank you for being part of this journey. Until next time, stay strong, stay curious, and never stop nourishing the life you have.